Salutations, respected viewers. I'm George from Ireland, and here I am in Kensington, outside the house, which once was where Flanders and Swann lived, and indeed it contained a recording studio. So Donald Flanders and Michael Swann were a renowned musical duo at the height of their popularity in the 1950s. So one was born in 1922, the other in 23, I don't remember which. So Swann was born in Wales, and Swann was probably the only Turkmen person in the United Kingdom. He was Turkmen on his grandmother's side, if I got that right. His father was a doctor from Russia, and they came here right after the Russian Revolution. So he grew up in Wales. These two, they both went to Westminster School, which is right beside Parliament, and there they had the grave misfortune to be just a couple of years ahead of Tony Benn, who was a Labour MP later on. They used to put it on the concert at school, so they're both exceptionally gifted in the gay science. When they reached 18, the Second World War was on, and I think I'm right in saying they were both pacifists, and so they volunteered to serve as stretcher bearers. If you're a conscientious objector, say that in principle you would never ever fight, you would never kill anyone, even in self-defense. If you could persuade a board of military officers that you were sincere in your principled objection to fighting under any circumstances, then you'd be recognised as a conscientious objector. You couldn't say I'm against this war because it's unjust, but I would fight in another war that's a just war. No, that argument was inadmissible, because it was not your decision to make. War is not an individual thing, it's a national thing. But anyway, certainly Swann served as a stretcher bearer in Greece, and obviously put himself in harm's way. He could easily have been shot dead. He's quite close to the enemy. He's got no weapon with which to defend himself. But anyway, they came back from the Second World War, and they launched themselves into their musical career. Now, Michael Flanders had some medical problem, I can't remember what it was, but it rendered him unable to walk quite soon. And when he wasn't even middle-aged, he was wheelchair-bound. So they had quite an international following in the United States and other parts of the Anglosphere. It was difficult getting his wheelchair onto and off to the planes. He became very overweight. It was difficult to take exercise, obviously, being stuck in a wheelchair, and his appetite was just as great as ever. But he married, he had children, and indeed Stephanie Flanders, sometime the BBC economics correspondent, she was doing that job in the late 90s, is his daughter, but she was a toddler when her father died in 1975. So they made out like bandits. They had the hippopotamus song, Mud, Nothing Quite Like It for Cooling the Blood, the GNU song, and various songs about thermodynamics. They had a song of patriotic prejudice. I don't remember all of how it goes, saying, these islands of ours are in the hands of three unfriendly powers, saying of us, the Irish, the Irishman's absurd. He blows up policemen and blames it on Cromwell and William III. And I can't remember, they said something else contemptuous about the Welsh, despite the fact that Donald Swann was Welsh, saying that they sing far too flat. And think about the Scotland, they haven't got bishops to show them the way, and all sorts of things. Say how the English are best, the English are misunderstood, and how everyone gives them an unfair press and things like that. So there's a success is for Great Britain, but if it's a failure, it's only for England. I don't think there's much truth in what they said, but I think it was a send-up of xenophobia, of little Englanderism. Anyway, so well, that's probably just about all about Flanders and Swann. Look up some of their light verse, which they set to music. It's the sort of cabaret you don't see much anymore. Remember in the 1980s, some sort of talent show, somebody else was doing Flanders and Swann impressions. Okay, and there's also a place in Battersea where one of them lived. I think it was Donald Swann. That's enough about Flanders and Swann. I've got to go home and listen to their music. I used to listen to a CD of a lot in 2004. Toodaloo.